Hello and welcome to another Naruto CCG deck concept video. Today I'm going to be profiling a Genjutsu deck. It's based around the Jutsu card Genjutsu, and it is my second most recent deck that I've made a concept for. Obviously, I haven't really done much testing, which is why it is a concept video. But I had some interest in this one, and I think it's pretty cool, and it could work pretty well, and some people wanted to see it, so here's the video. As always, I will be following the Untap and or Great Ninja Tournament's Discord server rogue list, but in this case, I don't think there's any differences that need to be observed, so if you're following the Untap Discord, or the Untap ban list, you should be fine here. But we can just get right into it without any further ado. So for turn zeros, I run 3 Hanare. When she's put in play, you can reveal your opponent's hand. If they have a mission, you draw and then move a card to your chakra area. She does have Genjutsu, and she lets you draw and get some chakra buildup early, so that's very good because Genjutsu is a jutsu that has a very, very high cost and can be reduced by having Genjutsu ninjas. So that's very helpful. Second, I run Sasuke Uchiha, newfound ability. He, when you go out to battle, can move 2 cards from your discard to your chakra area, and then at the end of the turn, you discard 3 of your chakra. So if you have a little bit of a chakra buildup in the next couple turns, discard buildup in the next couple turns, you can turn that into chakra, which, as I just mentioned, is something you'll need a lot of. And he's also a Genjutsu ninja on turn 0, just like Hanare, so that's pretty helpful also. Next, I run 2 Sakura, double personality, ADP. She lets you exchange your hand with the top of your deck during the exchange of Jutsu, which can let you see more cards in your deck, as searching out Jutsu cards specifically is always very tough. Doesn't have Genjutsu, is mostly just in here for a win symbol and for the hand swap. Then I run 2 Kushina. She is limited to 2, semi-limited, I guess. When she's put in play, you can move 2 cards from the top of your deck to your chakra area. Chakra buildup, obviously very important, and it's a pseudo draw for 2 of the later ninjas that have ambush that I'll be getting into. Last, I run 1 Ink Leech. It is legal only at 1 on the Great Ninja Tournament's Discord rogue list, so I guess I was wrong about that. I didn't really think about it. So for Untap, I would run probably a Gaara Childhood, or maybe a Hotaru, maybe Naruto Legacy of the 4th Hokage. But it lets you move 3 cards from the top of your deck to your chakra area. More chakra, always good. And like I said, there's some ambush ninjas that are going to be using that, and it's a pseudo draw for them. On turn 1s, I run 2 Yakumo Kurama. She is a Genjutsu ninja, and she is pretty okay. She can stall a little bit. Your opponent's ninjas with entrance cost of 2 or less that don't have Genjutsu get -2, -0. So she can help you stall pretty well. It kind of like negates having an extra ninja on the field, kind of, if there's like a support ninja or something. A lot of times they give 2, so reducing by 2 kind of negates that. Really, she's just in here for the symbol and for the Genjutsu. It's not very worth it, honestly. The next ninja is more important and a little better to go into if possible, but having a Genjutsu ninja on the field is good. Next, I run 2 Tobi, Dawn of Vengeance. He lets you search out any card with a world in its name, and I do run 1 of them. Most importantly, he's a turn 1. He has ambush, he has Genjutsu, and he has a fire symbol, so that's all very helpful. So really, if World of Genjutsu is in your battle rewards or chakra in your hand, it's not that big of a deal. He still has Genjutsu, and he has ambush. So if he's put into chakra by Leech or Kushina, you essentially get him into your hand because you can deploy him from there. But that's the main purpose for him. Before I go to the next ninja, I feel like I should explain how the deck works. The main concept of a Genjutsu deck is the card Genjutsu, not surprisingly, this titular card. It costs 10 colorless chakra, and you can reduce it by 1 for every Genjutsu ninja on your field. Requirements is Genjutsu plus entrance cost of 5 or more, so it's a pretty steep cost. But its effect is that you control your opponent's next turn. And when you do that, it's almost certainly game over for them. You can take fights that have them lose. You can kill their ninjas with your jutsus. You can kill their ninjas with their jutsus. You can charge their entire hand before the exchange of jutsu happens, so that they're essentially playing with nothing and they're losing everything. So it's incredibly powerful and obviously incredibly costly for that reason. So the concept is to get that off as soon as possible, within reason, because you still have to have 10 chakra. So to do that, I've run 3 Konan Akatsuki's Beauty. When she's deployed, you can name a ninja card, and then she is sent to your opponent's field and is treated as having that ninja card's name. So essentially, if you didn't want your opponent to play like Sasuke Uchiha, you could deploy Konan, move it to your opponent's side of the field. It's now named Sasuke Uchiha, so your opponent can't play another Sasuke because they already have one. Not the best if they have growth, like you don't want to name Naruto, you don't want to name Konohamaru, stuff like that, because they can just growth over it, and that's doubly bad. But she gets that name. She also can't be sent out to battle herself, so essentially you can't just throw her out as death fodder. You can't just swing wildly and hope your opponent kills her. So she's pretty useful in that regard. The key point of this being that I also run 3 of the Kakashi Sharingan versus Sharingan, and his effect is that while he's in your hand, if your opponent has 1 or more Akatsuki ninjas in the village, he can be put in play for free in any team of your choice during their mission phase. So essentially, on turn 2, you can deploy Konan, put her on your opponent's side of the field. She does get a new name, but she doesn't lose any of her name or characteristics, so she is still Akatsuki. And Kakashi can then put himself into play in one of your teams on their turn, so probably your turn 3. I don't know how it would be any different, but probably your turn 3. And then, obviously, he is a turn 5 with Genjutsu, so he can use Genjutsu on turn 3. Konan also has ambush, so Ink Leech and Kushina are essentially searching out for her, so that's very helpful. And hopefully building enough chakra that by turn 2 or 3-ish, you have enough to use Genjutsu. Obviously, it'll only cost at least, or at most 9, because Kakashi will be on the field to give you -1. Perhaps Hanare or Sasuke will be on the field to make that 8. Sasuke could move 2 from the discard to give you 2 more. Hanare could move 1 to your chakra from your hand to give you 1 more. You could dump your whole hand into your chakra area after Kakashi goes down, or like before he does. There's kind of a lot of options. I haven't tested this, like I said, to make sure that it functions smoothly, but that is basically the concept. So facilitating that a little bit more, I run 2 Obito Uchiha on turn 3. This is Hidden Strength. During the EOJ, he can discard 1 card from your hand and then negate a jutsu being used by a ninja with 3 or less entrance cost. So being a sort of early game rush deck, hopefully that's every jutsu during the important part of the play that you want. He also gives Kakashi +1/+1, so that's pretty cool. And obviously he's Genjutsu, so if you're on your turn 3, you've deployed or anything, you can reduce Genjutsu by 1 more. Then I run 1 Utakata, Bubble Wall. He can draw you 2 cards if you put him in play and pay 2 wind chakra. There's a lot of wind in the deck, so that's possible, and this is kind of a fail-safe of if you haven't seen Genjutsu or Kakashi or Konan, but most likely Genjutsu. It's kind of a risk because you are paying chakra in order to do his draws, which you kind of super need, so I really only do have him at 1. But he does have the wind symbol, so that's pretty useful. Then for turn 4 is I run 2 Kurenai Yuhi, Demon Illusion. She lets you put her into play from your hand, and then your opponent can't win any battle rewards that turn. And if your turn marker is 4 or more, she can stay on the field. So it's kind of a free put in play of a Genjutsu ninja to kind of shore up your numbers a little bit. She can't use Genjutsu because she's only turn 4, but it reduces the cost a little bit, hopefully, and is extremely good for protecting yourself. Still in turn 4, I run 1 Asuma. He's the Revitalized Knockout Punch. When he's put in play, you can discard target non-leaf ninja with an entrance cost of 2 or less. This is really good for killing heretical icons, Karine, absorptions, Gaara childhoods that you might not want to because you want to kill them, but if they're going to be going into Garan Tamari, stuff like that. So he's just very good as a put in play effect, just like Kurenai. Once they're both on the field, they don't really do anything, so they can be squatted out later. He does also have Revitalize if they're milling for some reason, I guess, or if you use it for chakra, it just goes back to the bottom of your deck, so that's pretty helpful. For turn 5s, I've already gone over, but I run 3 of the Kakashi. Obviously, you want as many as possible to see them as early as possible without having to tutor search them. When he's in your hand, if your opponent has an Akatsuki, you can put him into play in any of your teams during their mission phase, which is kind of a weird stipulation. It's usually EOJ or like during your mission phase, but whatever, it's fine. He has Genjutsu and is a fire symbol, so that's helpful. Then for turn 6s, I run 2 Itachi Inferno. When he's on the field, your opponent can't play non-jutsu cards with an entrance cost of 2 or less. So if he can get onto the field early, he's extremely good at keeping your opponent from playing the game, really. And the best way to do that is with Jonin's Intervention, which I do run. Genjutsu Ninja, he can run, he can use Genjutsu, he can use any jutsu in the deck, so pretty helpful. I keep saying helpful. Now I'm self-conscious about it. Onto my jutsus, I run 1, Tsuchigumo, Big Bang, Wind deck, Wind Jutsu, pay a wind, charge a card, get more chakra, draw 2 cards. Pretty much the perfect jutsu for this deck. It builds chakra and searches for your Genjutsus, kinda. I run 2 Backstab. It's only 1 fire, so it's very cheap to use early if you need to use it to, knock somebody down a bit and protect your team so you can stall a little bit further. I didn't want to run a lot of jutsus that are high in cost because you need as much chakra as possible. I run 3 Labyrinth. It is wind and fire, so dual on element. You can pay 2 wind or 2 fire to negate a jutsu being played as long as the user is entrance cost 2 or more, which hopefully it should be. You can negate the jutsu and discard it, and then if it has 2 or more specific symbols, you get -2/-2 on that target ninja. So pretty helpful, mostly in here for the dual symbol, but having negates is very good because the last thing you want is to dump 8, 9, 10 chakra into Genjutsu and have it get negated, so you want your own negates. 1, Fear by Genjutsu, the best jutsu in the game in my opinion, even more so when you're using it with Genjutsu ninjas because it gives them a damage while also pushing the entire team back. Dual on element, restricted to 1, limited to 1 on all lists, best jutsu in the game. I run 3 Genjutsu last, obviously 10 chakra, reduced by 1 for every Genjutsu you control, usable by 5 or more, so really Kakashi and Itachi and your Genjutsu reinforcements are the ones who can use this, but you've got the cheese going for you, so that's good. On to missions, I run 3, just like Drifting Clouds. 2 turns, you can exchange all the cards in your hand with the same amount from your deck, and then shuffle your deck and draw a card. So this is very useful with Sakura ADP because Sakura does not let you shuffle. So if you use Sakura's effect and then want to use it again in the next turn, you're just going to get the same cards back and you're not going to have seen anything else. But if you use it in conjunction with just like Drifting Clouds, you are going to be able to see twice as many cards, which is like 6 per turn, 5 per turn probably. So you're going to go through your whole deck like twice over in a couple turns. But also it's going to let you shuffle so that you can Sakura ADP again and see all new cards. Plus it gives you a draw. Not only that, it gives you your fire chakra early on because it's a turn 1 mission, so you don't have to be dumping into your hand for nothing. You actually get to build up your chakra naturally with missions. Next, 3 Patriarch, turn 1 mission, same exact deal, fire, build up your chakra early. Target is one of your ninjas, and then you search for a ninja that shares a combat attribute and move it to your hand. So this is very good on the early game if you want to target Hanare or Sasuke, Yakumo, Tobi, to search out your Kakashi, or to search out your Itachi if you have Jonin's Intervention in your hand. I do run 3 because you just want to see Kakashi very, very early. I could see it going down to 1. I could see you swapping out for Make-Out Tactics, but searching for Kakashi was my main goal, and I don't want to have 6 chakra in order to use Make-Out Tactics to find Kakashi. And I could see maybe 2 Patriarch, 1 Make-Out Tactics because I have no way to search for Konan, but I did consider Kushina and Ink Leech to be sort of a search because you can charge her and get her into chakra and deploy her from there. Plus with Sakura and just like Drifting Clouds, searching and swapping out the top 5, 6, whatever amount of cards to your deck. A big restriction in these cards is that if you have something in your hand that you really want It kind of sucks to have to put it back on top of your deck and shuffle it away and kind of hope that you see it again. But with Konan, you can just charge her from your hand into your chakra and then activate Drifting Clouds or Sakura ADP and not have to worry about that. So I did run 3 Patriarch in the end to find the Kakashis specifically and the Itachis based on the very early Genjutsu ninjas I have. Then I run 1 Jonin's Intervention, the newer one. It is limited to 1. For 2 turns, target 1 Jonin ninja in your hand, and you put it in play. So this lets you put your Itachi in on turn 1, essentially making it so that your opponent can't play anything for probably 2 turns, maybe more than that, which is devastating, incredibly powerful, probably the worst thing to have happen. One of the best Jonin's Intervention targets. You can also use it on Kakashi if you haven't seen your Konan. If you get lucky enough, I guess you could just put Kakashi into play, have Genjutsu in your hand, get some chakra from Jonin's Intervention, and call it a day from there. So next, I run 3 Loss, turn 2, Wind Mission, simple, draw 2 cards. I run 3 because turn 2 is the turn that you want to have your Konan into play so that you can put in play your Kakashi next turn and have your Genjutsus. And this is the best draw you can possibly get for turn 2 or earlier in a Wind or Fire deck. Lastly, I run 1 World of Genjutsu. A lot of people like this strategy for protecting your Genjutsu jutsu. I'm not the biggest fan. Obviously, it's a little later than I want to do. But I do like the Tobi on turn 1. I did run a turn 2 Tobi, but I wanted that slot open for Konan to put herself into play. So I do run 1 World of Genjutsu just because I have the slot open and to give Tobi something to do, kind of thin the deck out a little bit. And it is very good. It's just a little later than I want. So for 2 turns, that's hard to say, any ninja without Genjutsu can't be the user of jutsus with 2 or more specific symbols. So a lot of negates like Labyrinth, like Visual Jutsu, Toadmouth Trap, Frog Kumite, they all have more than 1 specific symbol, so they can't be used to negate your Genjutsu. There's also like Rasengans, anything with specific symbols 2 or more is not usable, and those are usually the jutsus that are going to oh my god, I'm talking way too fast, that are going to stop your Genjutsu jutsu from going off. So I do run 1 of these just to kind of round out everything. And obviously you're not going to be hitting this on turn 2 every time, so having that backup is very safe. So for the reinforcements, I do run a couple. I do only run 12. There's almost certainly 3 more you can fit in here, and you don't need all of these. You can't even play all of them, really, like back to back to back. Like I only have 1 Asuma. But first of all, I run 3 Danzo. He's just very good if you're like Kakashi has a poison coin or something on it. Itachi can't be used. If your ninja is detrimentally affected in some way and has Sharingan Eye, he can sacrifice it and put himself into play and then get +1/+1 coins based on their entrance cost. So useful just for kind of removing something from your field so that you can put another version of that into play. And that's essentially his only function. Unfortunately, he doesn't have Genjutsu, but he is also only turn 4, so it wouldn't really matter except for like Fear by Genjutsu. I run 3 Sasuke Kakashis. Incredibly good support. Reinforcement. It is turn 5 with 0 hand cost, so that's nice. And it does have Genjutsu, so this is a user of Genjutsu, as are Kurenai and Asuma, and Kakashi and Itachi. So all of the reinforcements besides Danzo can use Genjutsu. When he's put in play, you put up to 3 -1/-1 coins on 3 different ninjas, and those ninjas can't use Jutsu cards anymore. Kind of a last-ditch effort on turn 5 if you need to stall out for them to get Genjutsu down. Put these coins on any ninjas that you think might be using a Jutsu to kind of counter your Genjutsu, and then swing out and use it. Then I run 3 Kurenai and Asuma. Pay an Earth, which I guess you could. You have 1 and it's going to be sacrificed. So no, you can never pay an Earth. Or Wind Chakras to target ninja with less entrance cost and make them a standby and then draw a card. So very good effect. Standbying is one of the best ways to negate jutsus. And drawing a card is not contingent on that, so you just get to draw a card for that chakra anyway. Lastly, Kakashi and Itachi squad. Targets of jutsus must be selected at random from legal targets. Once again, protecting your Genjutsu, because you have to roll a die, flip a coin to see if you're targeting the right jutsu. You could end up trying to negate your own jutsu. Most jutsus are target one jutsu being played, which itself is. So at least a 50-50 on negating your own Genjutsu no matter what, if they're trying to. Genjutsu obviously turns 7, so pretty late, and you really only have your Kakashi and Itachi's here. But if you are on turn 7 and both of these are down, they're pretty much useless at that point anyway, so you might as well go into this if you don't have Sasuke to go into Kakashi and Sasuke. So that is pretty much the whole deck. I think it's very neat. I've wanted to use this combo like forever. I think it's so funny that just old ass Kakashi, who was printed in the day where like the only way to put him out was if an Itachi or Kisame was on the field, just kind of got randomly buffed by this Konan like 18 sets later, who just like happens to put herself on the opponent's field so you don't have to wish that your opponent is playing a Akatsuki deck. So I think it's hilarious, and I honestly think it's one of the fastest ways to use Genjutsu, which is kind of a double-edged sword. Yes, it is very fast, but is it too fast to the point where you don't have enough chakra? Possibly. Where you don't have a capacity to protect yourself? Possibly. Most Genjutsu decks are going to run the turn 0 Boyhood Kakashi to put in play any turn anything Kakashi on turn 4, which is really only 2 turns later, like not even, like 1.5 turns later than you would be doing anyway. So it really remains to be seen if the speed of this outweighs the security that you have later. But really, I just like it for the concept, which is why I don't have it in print. I don't have like $500 to drop on this, 300 of which is just for Genjutsus. But maybe somebody wants to proxy it. Maybe somebody wants to try it out on their own. I would love to see it. Let me know if you have any suggestions for any other Genjutsu ninjas or anything else that you like in your Genjutsu decks. I think my Jutsu support could be a little better, but with 4 dedicated to Genjutsu and Fear by Genjutsu, and the rest kind of being filler and or negates. I don't really know how much that could change. But I'd love to hear any other options and love to see any Genjutsu decks. There aren't a lot on YouTube, so I hope I see some more. Leave a like and a subscribe if you want to see more like this. I have a bunch of concepts now that most of my deck profiles are done, but I also do have more deck profiles coming out. I just don't like to do it with proxies, and I'm very, very close to completing a few other decks. So you'll see a few more of those later. I also have more tier videos and obviously more concepts coming out because I'm thinking of stuff every damn day. So I hope to see you next time, and we'll have another fun look at another weird deck. Bye.